So as you come online, please tell us your name and where you're calling from so we can welcome you to the call. Who else has joined us?
Linda from Ohio.
Hello, Linda. Welcome to the call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Linda, what we'll do is we'll make you the last guest that we'll welcome tonight. I want to say hello. It's December 9th, 2020. And this is the Enriching Gifts Education Call. We're here each and every week. I guess I can't say that because next week we won't be here next 2 weeks, but we're here most weeks to do this call. And I say we, I really mean you, the listeners, and our host for the call, Ron Schneider. So he's been doing this call for decades. He shows up, he pours into each and every one of us his passion, which we're going to hear again tonight on the call. And a lot of that is sparked from questions that we get from our guests. So Ron, I want to say welcome to you, and here we go again. I'm just excited for the call. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. You betcha. Got a couple things. Yeah, I just want to remind everybody we've got another couple weeks coming up here. We will not have a conference call the week of Christmas or the week of New Year's. So those 2 weeks we will be off, and then we'll, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but we'll get started after New Year's Day, that next Wednesday after New Year's. Anyways, I'd like to welcome everyone this evening myself. And tonight I want to talk a little bit more about where we left off last week. We talked about digestive health, not just for COVID-19, but going through the holiday season. And that all starts with enzymes. And I did talk a little bit about immune system efficiency and this whole COVID-19 thing. I just want to remind everybody, your immune system, it can be built big, it can be functional, it can be genetically strong and mature. But if your digestive system isn't completely efficient, strong, and mature, and that means your body's ability to produce and maintain a high level of enzymes in the digestive process, your immune system is going to suffer. It's going to become very, very clogged up, suppressed, and not very efficient in its functioning. So I want to talk a little bit more about the enzymes tonight, and I want to get into the formula. A couple of people asked me last week, why don't I talk about our products and our formulas? Most people on these calls know I don't like to promote products, especially Enriching Gifts labels on these calls, but tonight I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about that because I was asked to. So one of the things that I learned way back 36 years ago when I was bodybuilding and stuff, kind of coming into the end of that, and then started looking into nutrition and financial income opportunities through the network marketing industry, and kind of when I really got introduced to enzymes the way that I market now and understand and promote and research them today. And one of the big things that I really found out was there's three major factors in any good enzyme formula. First and foremost are the kind of enzymes that the formula is made up of. Enzymes are very specific. They're protein substances, almost all of them. Even your enzymes that break down and digest fats are still proteins. And one of the things is you cannot get an enzyme to do something it's not genetically designed to do. And that's what one of the major flaws and downfalls of the entire enzyme industry has been for well over 50, 60 years. Even go back to the early to mid 60s when I was doing research and development and stuff, looking at some of the enzymes and the formulas that were put together. Just why did they put this kind of an enzyme in this kind of a formula if you're trying to achieve this kind of result? And it did make sense to me, and it's been a flaw for literally decades and decades, almost a half a century or more. So always remember, enzymes are very specific task, one single task-oriented protein substances. And they only do one thing, but they do it very well, and they do it over and over and over and over and over again until it no longer has any energy to do it with. So that's one of the big flaws. You're trying to get pancreatic enzymes to somehow reduce cholesterol and it's oxidized in blood veins or blood vessels. Arteries and things, and that's never going to be able to do that because it requires an acid pH. Or you get some of these other enzymes where their biochemical reactions are extremely slow, too slow to be efficient inside the human body. Just too many things go on, and it's too fast, and the blood circulates way too fast to have an enzyme, a slow enzyme activity be around to do much. So these are some of them, and then you have different enzymes that only function within very specific temperature ranges, like papain, for example. You're going to find bromelain and papain, pineapple and papaya enzymes in a lot of formulas. Now, we have bromelain on the Enriching Gifts formula, but not to digest your proteins. It's an anti-inflammatory. Breaks down the actual proteins your body releases to induce inflammation. That's why we have it in our formula. But other companies, they'll have just papain and bromelain, and that's your digestive aid. Unfortunately, there's two flaws wrong with that. Papain works in a very, very high alkaline pH. Digestion occurs in a very low acid pH, so that's not going to work well. The second thing is that papain, the temperature, optimum temperature for papain enzymes is 115 to 122 degrees. Your body temperature, holy cow, you're dead at 108, 109 usually. Your body just can't sustain a temperature like that for much more than a few minutes. So the temperature, the papain enzyme never really does get to a temperature where it's very efficient at doing what a papain enzyme does. So those are just some of the major flaws wrong with the entire industry. And the biggest flaw is that, and I encourage everybody, especially if you're promoting these products, at least get the fundamental understanding about digestive enzymes and the different pH and activating factors. And if you have any questions, please call me. I'm always happy to help everybody understand enzymes to the level and the comprehensiveness I'm able to understand them. But the biggest flaw of the whole thing is enzymes don't work without minerals. And like I was going to say, encourage everybody, go out to the health food stores, go to GNC, go to Walmart, go to any health food, Walgreens, CVS pharmacies. Just go out and start looking at your local grocery markets and stuff that have nutrients and dietary supplement aisle. And you're going to start turning labels, and you won't see one single enzyme product out there that has much more than calcium, magnesium, or zinc. And those are some of the very, very few, like Swanson Foods is one of them. But if you go to a regular health food store and start turning labels, you'll see that no enzymes have minerals in them. Enzymes don't work without minerals. That's why we have minerals inside the human body. That's why you have to fertilize your grass or your crops if you're a farmer. What's in that fertilization? Minerals. Read the label on the bag you're using for fertilizers. And enzymes cannot work, and they do not work without minerals. Don't believe me? Put our enzyme formula into or put a seed into distilled water. See if it'll sprout and grow a plant. It won't. Not in distilled water. In a glass, it won't. I've done it many, many times. So that's what makes our product under the Enriching Gifts label so different than any other product on this planet. One, I have a very, very in-depth, comprehensive understanding about enzymes. My profession is immunoenzymology, not just the enzymes that run and regulate the human immune system cell function. That's what I focus on. But in order to have a great digestive enzyme that then further supports that immune system functioning, you have to understand enzymes. And I've researched digestive enzymes for over 30 years, 35 years, in fact. And one of the things I know is you have to have a very comprehensive mineral compound, or many, many different minerals, not just one or two or three, in order to activate enzymes and keep them fully active. Because you can have high potency enzymes, lots of milligrams, or very tolerant high activity enzymes like we have in the Enriching Gifts formula, but you also have to have minerals to support that sustained activity over long periods of times, not just a nanosecond and then it's done, or it doesn't activate at all because the human body is mineral deficient. So we have extremely high activities. In fact, I'm proud to say that I've been able to enforce legally throughout the last 3 years and confidently say Enriching Gifts plant enzymes has the highest activity of any enzyme, digestive enzyme product anywhere in the world. No one is going to out-enzyme us, period. And we also have the most comprehensive as far as the enzymes that we use in our formula. I don't usually get into the substrate strains of the overall formula, and I won't tonight. I'll just tell you that we have multiple strains of each and every one of those enzymes listed on the label, such as the protease enzymes. We have 6 different strains of protease enzymes in our formula, but we just list the overall protease activity. overall amylase activity, overall lipase activity. There's 3 different lipases. There's 4 different amylases. So just because you see 6 or 8, I think there's 8 or 9 different enzymes in our formula now. But there's far, far more strains than that. And that is a trade secret. So I don't disclose that to anybody. I think I mentioned several months ago about nanokinase. That's actually in our product, but I don't list it as nanokinase. It's just part of the overall activity of protease category. So, and then the minerals. You know, we have a mineral that was discovered by a geologist strictly by accident, trying to prove that the Bible is true by going in search of Noah's Ark, the gopher wood from the Ark. And he ran across this mineral and he shared that with me. And then we in turn bought up the entire stock and acreage of the mineral because it's only found in one place on the planet Earth so far. It's been identified. And that mineral is extremely unique when it comes to the enzymes, not only in the human body, but also in nature. I've got tomato plants, believe it or not, that grow over 8 feet tall. They'll grow as high as my fence on the side of my yard, and that's a 10-foot high fence. It's a wall. Not a fence, it's a wall. It's as high as the roofs on both of my back house and my front house. And that's just teeny, tiny, small sprinkles in the soil. I'll bet you there's not even a teaspoon for 40 feet. If you put more than that in it, you're going to overdo it and it'll kill all your plants. But just a teeny little dose, and man, you got these humongous plants. And, you know, I can plant them right on the other side, the same dirt and everything, and they'll get up to maybe 3 feet, maybe 3.5 at the most. And they don't have it, but maybe even a third of the fruit on them. So that's the difference. And I do this right here at my home, but that's the minerals that we actually use in the Enriching Gifts formula. We get tremendous activation and we get sustained activity for literally 20 minutes, 30 minutes of those. You can actually see that activity in that enzyme formula is still working 20, 30 minutes later. Most enzymes will just, with the no minerals and stuff, they might be lucky to work 2 minutes at that, 3 at the most. So that's what I just kind of wanted to start off and talk about tonight was overall digestion and how that affects your immunity, and your immunity is what gives you your quality of life. When the body is protected from the things that will deteriorate the cellular functioning body, then you have great quality of life. But when your body is not protected from the cellular reproductive process, from the actual overall functioning and efficiency of cell activity, that's when your health starts to deteriorate, when your body starts to degenerate in its ability to do things and its ability to give you great quality of life, meaning disease-free living. And for me, that's probably the most important thing about waking up every day, is making sure I have a great day of quality life to live. And Enriching Gifts International definitely has the product line to support that to the best of anybody's genetic development or capability. So that's all I wanted to kind of talk about tonight. Just kind of wanted to reiterate that. And again, your immune system is only as good as your bloodstream is clean and your body is hydrated. So with that being said, I guess I'll just turn it back over to Dover for anybody that has any questions or comments.
All right, great stuff, Ron. Yes, if anyone has a question or comment, please ask away. So we have a question in the chat, Ron. It's from Michael, and he asked the question, is it safe to take cold showers during the winter time? Just curious.
Absolutely. You can take cold showers during the summertime. It's probably more dangerous to take a cold shower during the summertime as it is opposed to take a cold shower during the wintertime, because there's such a thing as shock. You think about your body. I was just talking about the body temperature has to have a maintained temperature at least above 94 in order for cells to start to begin to function efficiently. 98 to 100 degrees is the most efficient temperature for the human body to range within for the highest efficiency of overall cell functioning in the entire body. So cold water is just going to be cold on your skin. It's not going to lower your body temperature. It's just like the winter. You see all these people that do snow plunges where they dive into ice water and rivers and lakes and stuff. The polar plunge, I guess they call it. And there's even people that actually swim and condition themselves they'll stay in that water for 10, 15 minutes, trying to build up their muscle mass, build up red blood cells, which increases oxygenation, energy, stamina, all those kind of things. So the short answer is, yeah, it's fine to take a cold shower in the wintertime, because there are people literally that go out and sit in that stuff for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Athletes do it. There's, you've heard about throwing yourself in a hot tub, sitting there for 5 minutes, then get out and rolling in a snowbank for just a couple minutes, then get back in. And it's called shock therapy to your body. And that actually strengthens your body and creates more red blood cells when you do that. So that's actually a training process for some athletes.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with a question or comment, please unmute yourself and ask away.
Yes. Would probiotic help with diarrhea, and how much should you take in a day to get relief?
Well, probiotics will help depending on what the cause of the diarrhea is. If diarrhea is caused by bacteria from having food lay around and stuff, or it came in with a food source, then it's the bad bacteria like E. coli that actually can cause diarrhea as well as food poisoning. So assuming that the cause of the diarrhea is some kind of a bacteria, then taking the probiotics would absolutely help that, because they'll actually destroy that bad bacteria causing the diarrhea.
Uh-huh. Well, he has been having diarrhea for 2 days, and, of course, charcoal and water usually is a good product to take for diarrhea, and then he also has taken probiotics, and there's not much relief. He took 6 today. He's still,
6 probiotics?
like 2 weeks meal, yeah.
Okay.
And he still has diarrhea.
Well, diarrhea normally is going to take a day or two to clear up. That's the first thing. So, and you take 6. I would be taking 6 twice a day. Like I said, when I shared my story about when I got really, really bad food poisoning and diarrhea over in New Delhi, India, I only had diarrhea for literally probably maybe a couple hours. But there was people there that were puking, and they were running out just as bad out the rear end for weeks. In fact, Dave Maharaj had to be hospitalized. Michael sat at the toilet literally for 5 days, and that's where he slept. He never left the toilet. Either had diarrhea or vomiting because of the food poisoning. And people that have seen me do blood work and stuff, I have really big hands, and there must have been 12, 15 capsules I just poured out. I thought probably maybe about a third of a bottle, and just put as much as I thought I could swallow in one big old mouthful in there. And literally it lasted maybe about 20, 30 minutes. And then my headache, it took maybe a couple hours, and my headache was gone. And then I was fine for the rest of the trip. But I was the only person that wasn't severely sick for 5 days to 5 to 10 days. And Swamiji's cardiologist actually passed away as a result of that food poisoning. So, I would take, 6 capsules twice a day. If you're trying to use probiotics to get rid of diarrhea or some kind of a bacterial infection, you have to use a lot of probiotics. Don't be afraid to use them, and they should get rid of it in a day or two. And like I said, it's not going to all clear up in one quick afternoon. That's not normal, but I've been on enzymes and probiotics for so long. I think that's why my body reacted so positive so fast.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was yesterday, I had energy and felt fine, but today was just feeling so tired, and diarrhea just hasn't let up anything. It's still just pretty bad. So that's what I didn't know. Can you take too much for helping with diarrhea, or how much to take?
You can never use too many probiotics. Probiotics are one of those things where they're very beneficial to the human body. So the more the better. And if you take a whole bottle, I've taken a whole bottle of this stuff, by the way. And just so everybody knows, I've taken an entire 90-cap bottle all at once of our digestive enzymes, the 400 milligram capsule dose. And that was years and years ago. But I always tested our own products way before I ever put it out in a beta test group. I want to make sure, first and foremost, if it didn't hurt me, chances are it's not going to hurt anybody else. But I personally wanted to know what I could share with others as far as effects that they should look for, both detoxification or energy or positive or negative. So I'm just so everybody knows, I've actually taken a whole bottle of this formula all at once and never had diarrhea. You take a bottle of enzymes, you're going to be pooping your head out and got a whopping headache because you're going to detoxify like crazy. And that will give you severe diarrhea. I remember I sat on the pot literally for about 2 days, and it was just nothing but water for almost 3. But I had a whopping headache and really sore on my body, and that was from all that heavy cleansing going on. But yeah, so don't be afraid to take probiotics. There's nothing in there that can hurt you.
Yeah, because I would not know what his diarrhea would be coming from, because you can't think of anything that he ate, anything different that would have caused this, and nobody else in the household feel like, don't feel having diarrhea or don't feel like he did. So I thinking, maybe got a touch of flu, or I don't know.
Well, when you have diarrhea, you got something in your body that your body's trying to eliminate. 99% of the time, that's the cause of diarrhea. It could be you came in contact with some food source that nobody else has, food left out on a counter from meal to meal where it got some bacterial growth in it, a little bit of E. coli or something. It can come from a lot of different places. Stress. If your body is starting to go down, you're really tired, and then you eat too much protein, your body can get diarrhea because it's just too hard for the body to digest, and then you're already depleted in your energy and stuff because you're just tired. And then if you got a lot of inflammation or emotional stress in your life, that can make you irregular. There's just several factors that can create diarrhea.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions, comments for tonight's call? Anybody?
Don't be shy. Any questions? If not, we'll wrap up the call. All right, Ron, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
We've got a family member, actually Leilani's father, is going into surgery on Friday for a knee replacement. The question is, how much aloe does he take throughout the recovery process, rehab process?
Well, he could actually take the aloe even right starting today. I wouldn't even stop. I just take it right through the process. 4 to 6 capsules is a really good dose for just anything that aloe properties will benefit the body from, and that includes even cellular reproduction. So I would probably do the 6 capsules a day if you can afford it. If not, do at least the 4. And try to spread it out throughout the day.
Okay, perfect.
And the enzymes, if he is on the digestive enzymes, I'd probably stop the digestive enzymes today because you don't want to have too much of a blood effect. They really try to caution everybody anytime before you go into a surgical procedure, stop all your vitamins and supplements about a week before the actual operation, because they have to control the blood viscosity and coagulation and thickness, thinness, all that kind of stuff. And it gets more difficult to do if you have extra thinning medications or like digestive enzymes where you have things that are thinning the blood a little thinner than it normally would be, because that does pose a risk if there's any kind of hemorrhaging or anything like that. It kind of shows up during the surgical procedure. Makes it a little harder to control the blood. So just stop taking your enzymes and then wait for about probably 5 to 7 days after you're done with the operation. Then you can start back taking the digestive enzymes. And as far as the aloe goes, I wouldn't stop those. I'd just continue to take those right on through.
Got it. She's listening and said, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yep. Very welcome.
All right. Anyone else, please come on out if you got a question, comment. antidote to make things better here, please, we're open to it all.
Okay, well, I guess if we don't have
Yes,
any more
Ron, I have a
questions-
question. This is
Yeah.
Linda.
Okay, go ahead.
Roy has some bone spurs in his elbow. Can you explain that?
Mhm. Well, given the kind of work that Roy does, if you injure your elbows where you bump them into logs or wood or hit them or anything like that, that can actually start a little bit of a growth underneath that can lead to spurs. So I think it's just from banging himself around on lumber and stuff, the way he works.
Yeah,
That's
well, the
only thing that I could-
chiropractor did tell him that what did he say, Roy? He's got a lot of wear.
Yeah,
That
that's the
explains
only-
it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could think of, and that probably is the thing that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
For giving
Does the
that-
calcium
that-
help, though? Taking more calcium, the Coral Life?
Well, what would help is if you didn't bang it around so much to re-injure it. I mean, calcium helps to maintain
Tell him
things
that.
and build things. Yeah, I know. Exactly. But that's what I would recommend, is just kind of lighten up and not be so hard on your body,
No.
if at
Yeah.
all possible. But the calcium isn't gonna. I guess it's not going to prevent an injury. It can help to maintain bone density and the bones and kind of the cartilage and stuff, but it's not going to make much difference when you chronically keep injuring it like that and banging around all the time. It's not going to stop the spurs from developing.
Okay. Yeah, I was
All
just
righty.
curious about that.
Yeah. Good question though. But I know Roy.
Yeah, he's laughing. You know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's almost 60 now, and he's still pushing pretty hard.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I can relate to him. Samantha's always telling me, slow down, you can't do this anymore. So, all righty.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions, comments? Anybody? Well, if nobody has any more questions for the call this evening, I guess we can just wrap it up over, and then I'll see everybody next Wednesday, and then I think that's last Wednesday before we get into the Christmas week.
Hey, Ron, I was going to wrap up the call. We just had one in the chat, and it's actually a great question because I don't know that. Well, I don't want to dumb myself down, so I'll just shut up.
Okay.
But James in Australia has a question. How close in the substance they are, the enriching gift plant enzyme to the enzyme produced by the body, ? Or are they the same? It's a good question.
Could you repeat that again?
Sure. So at the end of the day, how close in substance are the enzymes that are in the enriching gifts plant enzyme formula to the enzymes that are produced by the body? Or are they the same enzyme? That's the question.
Not even close. One comes from nature, comes from plants. They're all plant-derived enzymes. And plant-derived enzymes are completely different than metabolic enzymes that run the human body. They're not even close at all. Completely different source.
Nice. And we know that source. So that's a great question, James. I mean, you would think, yeah, an enzyme, a protease is a protease, but you know, where it was produced from absolutely makes a difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, proteases that, you know, I think where his question was relating to are the digestive enzymes that we take in the capsule the same as the digestive enzymes the body produces? No, they're completely different, but they do the same job, and they do it the same way enzymatically. They can break down and digest foods just like the body's enzymes, but they're different enzymes. They're plant source derived enzymes, not metabolically produced enzymes from the cell structure of the human body. And I think that's what he was kind of alluding to.
Yeah, no, that's a great, thank you. That brought clarity for sure.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any other questions, or we'll wrap it up? And James said yes to your response, Ron. So you hit it on
Okay,
it.
good. Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
everyone
righty.
have
Well, I guess,
a great evening. And Ron, what I want to do is just pull up the calendar just to get everybody on the same page, and we'll wrap up the call. So
sure.
next
Yeah.
week is the 16th of December, and we will be here next week. What Ron was referring to in the beginning of the call is the week of the Christmas holiday for those in the world that celebrate that, and New Year's here in the United States. New Year's, the New Year is the next following 2 weeks. So the 16th we'll be back next week, and then the 23rd and the 30th we'll be taking taking those Wednesdays off, so there will be no call. And then we'll resume on Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. So we're looking forward to it. So
Correct.
we'll see you next week, everybody. And then we'll do it again. Thanks again, Ron. Appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, Dover. Have a great night, everybody.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.